Does your music group or live music business offer services in multiple geographic locations, and do you struggle to keep all your musician call lists in these different locations organized? Well, stick around because in today's tutorial, we're going to say goodbye to all that chaos and delve into the world of smart organization and optimize your musician booking process like never before. So let's jump right into it. So first of all, how do we differentiate between the roles for your members? So for instance, if you have members in different locations like New York and Los Angeles, but you only want to call the New York musicians for gigs in New York, etc., how do you do that? Okay, I'm going to jump right into my Back on Stage account here. And I'm on the roles page here. So if you come into company settings and you click on roles and then you click on add new, you're going to come right into here. So what you can see I've done here is I've added all my roles. In today's example, I'm using a string quartet, but obviously if you're a larger band or whatever, you can apply this to any situation. So what I've done is I've added the role name here, in this case violin 1, and then in brackets I've put NY, and that'll be how I delineate New York. And then we've got violin 1, and we've got LA for Los Angeles, violin 2 New York, violin 2 LA, and so on. If I had even more cities like this in my company, I could add maybe 4 or 5 different versions of violin 1, for example, and each would be a different city. You can also apply this. I've heard people want to, maybe they just want to call musicians who are in the union or who are not in the union, and they've got call lists for separating those two. You can use the same process for doing that. We're just using geographic locations today. That's kind of the most common one we hear and kind of the most easy to understand. But you can apply this to the same logic to many different situations. So once you've created all these roles like this, all you do is hit add there. And once that's all set, then you're going to want to come into your members area here. So from that previous page, you can just use the tab here at the top, or you can come to company settings and hit members here. Once you're in this page, come over to the bulk assigned roles section. And this also assumes that you've got all of these members added into your system already, which in this case we do. So from here, now what we want to do is come down our list and assign all of these roles. So for example, you can see I've assigned violin 1 New York to Bernard here. He lives in New York. Bob also lives in New York, so he's a violin 1 in New York. But Cecil and Charles, they live in LA. So we're going to assign them to the LA positions. Oh, sorry, I put New York for Charles there. But you get the idea. So we go down the list and we assign them all to their various cities. When you're done with all those assignments, you can come down to the bottom and hit confirm the role assignments there. So now that we've got everybody assigned to their proper roles, what we want to do is turn that into a service. So you can come over to company settings and you can hit services there. And once you're in on that page, you hit add new, or you can edit existing services if you'd like to apply this logic to them. So I've created a string quartet service here. I've added a description and a price. And now when I come down to the section on who do I hire for this service, this is what is going to populate my book roles page. On any booking I apply this service to, all of this information will be pre-populated into there, so it's really easy for me to send the work call out to all of my musicians. So on here, you can see I've specified violin 1 for LA, violin 1 for New York, violin 2 for LA, violin 2 for New York. So I've got all my roles and all the different city possibilities listed out there in the order I want to see them and the rates that I would typically pay them. This is all changeable on a gig by gig basis, but this is going to just save us some time if we have sort of some standards there. So once I've created my service like that, I'm going to hit update or save if it's a new service, and we are good to go. So now coming on to a booking, I've come up here and I hit add and I went to booking. I filled in all the details for the booking already and I added my string quartet service to it. I'm not going to go through all of that stuff. That's in other tutorials, but from here, now I come down in the booking creator to the book roles section. This is where I can actually send out the call lists, or send out the work call rather, to all of my call lists. So by default, you can see here the system turns on all of these roles for me. I've got LA and New York musicians everywhere. Let's pretend, for example, this gig is going to be in New York, so I don't need to call all of my LA musicians. That doesn't make sense. So it's really simple now. All I have to do is remove all those LA musicians from the call list, and what I'm left with is all of my New York musicians. So I've got violin 1, 2, viola, and cello, all based in New York. And now I can go ahead and hit book roles, and it's just going to send the call out to those New York players. And again, in case you aren't familiar with our Autobook system yet, Autobook is your secret weapon for booking musicians with Back on Stage with these green toggles turned on. Autobook will send out gig offers to these musicians every 6 hours. You can change that according to however you'd like that to run. And then that offer expires after 48 hours. So for example, we're calling Bernard to play violin for us. If he doesn't get back to us within 48 hours, we'll automatically move on to Bob Gordon and so on until our roster is completely filled. So, and those the gig offers are nicely pre-built, templated for you. You can customize this as well, but by default, we include all the main booking information there, as well as a schedule for the people to see. So you're not having to retype this every time you want to offer this gig to somebody. That's all done for you. So off that goes. Those gig offers are in process as soon as we hit that book roles button, and that is how we have now separated between which musicians were in the city and which weren't, and offered the gigs to the right people. So again, just to summarize here, what we've done, we set up roles for each instrument with the city name included there, or some way of delineating that. In my case, I used NY and LA. After that, we assigned players within our system to those roles. Following that, we went and we built a service that included all of those roles with all of this different city delineations included in that. And following that, we added that service to a booking and booked the roles that we wanted. So it's really as simple as that. To get all your roles booked, and how to organize lists sort of based on location like that. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps the channel and helps us understand what you guys want to see more of, so we can keep making great content to help you run your music business. So thanks again for checking this out. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.